It's time to rock and roll all night and party every day. Dun, 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 dun. We're gonna be in this comic now. We put our blood in the ink, and
I don't think
it's in the Sports Illustrated issue. All right, welcome to Divisive Issues. We have a very special episode for you tonight.
they're all special episodes, Joe.
This is very special. Very, very special.
How
'Cause
special is it?
tonight we're looking at celebrity comics. These are all kind of cross-promotional titles where celebrities have their own comic and good things happen for everyone involved. We've picked 3 winners with great history in comics. One in particular has a lot of urban myths surrounding it.
Okay. I was like, which one?
Which one? The only one that has like the urban myths surrounding it.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
The infamous Charles Barkley.
But no, I read these and I think we've picked some winners tonight. I'm feeling very good. I'm riding high.
So who are you?
I feel like tonight's episode is gonna be a slam dunk, Ryan. I'm Joe Ciano, by the way, which is what Ryan's trying to get at.
Yes.
I'm Sly Crappo.
And I'm Ryan Lynch.
Y'all know who the hell I am at this point.
But this is how you. Do we have to do this every time, Joe?
All the
Do we
time.
have to argue about this every time?
Well, we have a regular segment is introducing ourselves, and another regular segment is arguing over whether we should introduce ourselves.
Wanna rock and roll?
Okay.
We're doing the Kiss comic, by the way, in case you haven't guessed yet.
Also, at this point, you've downloaded it and you can see the title of the episode.
Well, maybe they're just streaming it right now.
Oh,
wait, what's the title of our episode? Is it Kiss? Is there a Kiss pun in this?
Eminem Kiss Charles Barkley.
Okay, that's great. Actually,
I guess if you're in the car with someone and they put this on and they're forcing you to listen to it against your will, you don't know what books we talk about.
if you're listening right now, Avery, I hope you do this to jail.
So, our first title up is Kiss.
It's just called the Kiss comic?
No, it's Marvel Super Special. Let me see that's actual title.
Can we be a super special at some point? Can we just super
every episode's super special.
Yeah, but I know we like the BVS episode, but we need more super special giant sized episodes.
Okay. With special guests?
Yeah, absolutely.
You sure we got Ariel on this one.
Where's Ariel?
What's your thoughts on Kiss?
I actually saw Kiss with her last summer.
Shut
I
up,
actually
no
kissed
way.
her.
And yeah, I guess.
So, this is Marvel Comics Super Special number 1. And this series is actually interesting because this was where Marvel had a bunch of comic book adaptations of movies.
Is this when they were doing Star Wars?
Well, I think they have an adaptation of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back in a Marvel Super Special issue. And they also have an adaptation of Doom with Bill Sienkiewicz as the artist.
Wait, Dune?
Dune.
Like Frank Herbert's Dune?
Like the chocolatey drink?
The Lynch
What?
movie, Lynch movie Dune, and the book.
What chocolatey drink, Joe? Ovaltine? What are you talking about?
Like you get the debris, and you put it in the drink.
What are you talking about?
Anyway.
Okay, so Dune.
I was referencing a really old Dane Cook joke that none of you got.
Oh.
The movie Dune is
Of
in my
course.
chocolatey drink.
Oh, I should have listened more intently when that kid Sean in my Italian class would listen to Dane Cook really loudly in 7th grade, because that's the most exposure I have to him.
It was a good joke.
It was A+. Fuck you, Ryan. But another notable Marvel Comics Super Special issue is the Howard the Duck adaptation of Howard the Duck, the movie, which is an adaptation of Howard the Duck, the comic, which is...
Okay, I would not call that movie an adaptation of the comic for what it's worth.
I'm just
Have you
being
seen
ironic here.
I've seen most of it.
I feel like that's the episode waiting to happen.
Oh my god, it is. That's the next super special.
Oh yeah, perfect choice.
Yes.
But I bring up Howard the Duck because the Marvel Comics Super Special number 1 is drawn by Steve Gerber.
It's written by Steve Gerber.
Written by Steve Gerber and drawn by a bunch of people, including Sal Buscema and John Buscema, which are notable Spider-Man artists.
And Steve Gerber is a legend.
Yeah, Steve Gerber created Howard the Duck, and the funny thing is, Kiss actually shows up in Howard the Duck.
Have you guys read Steve Gerber's Howard the Duck?
Not the Kiss issues.
Read his man thing.
That's not what I asked, Joe.
Howard the Duck shows up in his man thing.
I know.
So it's so facto. I've read his Howard the Duck.
I guess.
I've read Howard the Duck by Steve Gerber.
I just finished his run, and it is probably my favorite comic run of the 70s.
How's Kiss in it?
Kiss is pretty great. If not my.
Did they lick it up?
I don't think. Look It Up might not have been out by then.
Oh, damn.
I thought you guys were talking about porno, like a Howard the Duck Kiss porno.
That would be awesome. No, it wouldn't. I said that, and then I thought about it. No, never mind. But Steve Gerber is noted for being way ahead of his time.
Oh, he's
like,
amazing.
Decades ahead of his time. And, like, his Howard the Duck, to me, is still the most poignant political commentary on America that I've ever seen in comic book form. So that is not really the Steve Gerber we get here.
What are your?
But we don't get a bad Steve Gerber here.
I didn't say that. But we do not get deep-seated American satire.
This is not the first
Isn't
book you
it,
want to be
though?
a Steve Gerber fan.
Isn't it deep-seated American satire on American pop culture?
I don't know.
On Kiss culture.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck are people listening?
So, let's...
What are your thoughts on Kiss, by the way?
How much do you guys know about Kiss?
I listened to a few of their songs, which I generally enjoy. Gene Simmons blows fire. They enjoy ladies a lot, apparently.
That's true.
And they do a lot of commercial things.
Okay, yeah, that's very true. You can buy a Kiss coffin if you want. That's literally a thing that exists.
My biggest experience.
I appreciate if you really love Kiss, there are options for you to explore your fandom.
My biggest experience of Kiss is when Gene Simmons starred in a James Bond ripoff movie called Never Too Young to Die, and he played a transvestite over-the-top villain in that, and it was awesome.
That sounds pretty great. I'm gonna save my favorite Kiss thing for my recommendation, which I just realized is definitely gonna be my recommendation for this episode. But my parents love Kiss a lot, and I've seen Kiss a bunch of times. And Kiss is a band that I love but hate their music so much. I am not a Kiss fan at all, but I love that they exist more than anything. And
Their image goes ahead.
their image, their shameless self-promotion, the fact that like they still do these ridiculous tricks on stage where like Paul Stanley still swings over the crowd but needs a stagehand to help get him out of the harness when he lands. Like, they are the most shameless, self-absorbed group of people I've ever seen, like, that exist in the world, and this comic is such a perfect adaptation of Kiss.
How do you feel about this book? I love it.
It is... This book I would have been so bored with if it was long, but it's so short that it is so...
It is perfect length.
It is the perfect length
Yeah.
for how ridiculous it is and crazy. If you like celebrity tie-ins, this is the gold standard.
I thought this is like the first, or this is one of the first.
It's one of the first ones.
When did this come out? Do we know?
1977.
77. Okay.
And oh yeah, we should mention the backstory on this issue, which is that Kiss gave their blood, and the blood was used for the ink process of this comic.
It was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be.
There's a rumor that it was, and there's a rumor that it actually went to a Sports Illustrated issue,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, the Kiss swimsuit issue.
So, the issue opens up with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. I don't know who Paul Stanley is.
Paul Stanley's the lead singer and the much worse guitar player.
Okay.
Is he the lead singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, guys.
I was assuming Gene Simmons was the lead.
Yeah, me too, actually.
No, Gene Simmons sings sometimes.
I'm so glad we have a rock.
Who sings Rock and Roll All Night?
I think Gene Simmons.
Yeah, I
sings
think
it.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, screw you, Ryan.
Okay, listen. If you go see Kiss, Paul Stanley's gonna sing like 80% of the set.
Who sings Lick It Up?
I don't know.
Who sings God of Thunder?
I don't know. I don't like Kiss. I like.
Because I'm pretty sure Gene Simmons sings all of these songs.
Okay, Paul Stanley sings a lot.
Okay. I'm not doubting you.
Either way, he's the worst guitar player. Ace Frehley's the only talented member of that whole fucking band.
How do you really feel about Kiss, though?
So Gene Simmons. So it opens up with Gene Simmons bitching about he has to make the passage from.
This is regular plainclothes Gene Simmons.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
real world Gene Simmons.
And
like,
they're not. Kiss doesn't exist.
Kiss
in
is
this
not a concept in
universe.
this book. We should clarify the backstory on this.
Yeah.
The lore of this world.
They're just two, much like they look just like Kiss, where they're like two like ugly middle-aged guys with nothing really to offer.
Yeah, so they're making a passage from accountants.
You're gonna tell me Gene Simmons is an attractive guy?
I'm not going to do this on the podcast. You're so mean.
Ryan really fucking hates you.
I have had Kiss shoved in my face my whole life, and sometimes through the span of a sentence, I go from loving them to hating them. I have a very complicated relationship.
Oh, this is
with
going to
Kiss.
be great. Let's keep going.
So they're making a passage from adolescence to accountancy, and Gene Simmons says, Can you believe that, man? He actually ordered me to ditch my comic collection. The hell of it is, Paul. I keep thinking maybe he's right. Maybe life is just shopping lists and card payments and checkbooks and car net bills. So just Gene Simmons bitching about like, oh, I have to get a job now.
I have to get a job. Yeah.
I know, isn't that great?
And the other guy, Gene.
It's very relatable. Who wants to get
Well,
a job?
I think Gene Simmons started as like an English teacher or something before he was a rock star. So I guess it's.
I'm curious to see how that went. He's like, I'm being told I'm too old for comics, man. Maybe it's true. Maybe we gotta go over fantasies, Paul. And
I actually love this because if you're like reading this for Kiss and you're like, I don't know if comics are for me, and then they're like, no, comics are so counter arts, like or like counterculture.
Yeah.
Like if you love Kiss, you love comics. Like do this.
Kiss is pretty nerdy.
It's
when
great.
You really look at it.
No, absolutely is. But like at the time though, this is great marketing for them.
Yeah.
And then they meet a guy, a hobo, getting the shit beat out of him. And it's a guy who's like balding, has sunglasses on, and has
ballin'?
balding.
Oh.
I mean, he's balling too. I mean, he's that too, but he's also
And
balding.
he has a belly shirt, a yellow belly shirt that says "Play hard, play fair, nobody hurt." And he has like
He's like not wearing pants or something,
he
right?
has like Tarzan loincloth on.
Yeah.
He's like that guy who's like clearly past the age group for the rock concert.
And like
And he's still going really hard.
Have you been to a Kiss concert?
No, Ryan, I have not been to a Kiss concert.
They're
Would you like
all
to tell
those
me?
guys.
There we go.
these guys are beating him up, and he's speaking in a very Thor way. And then he sees the Kiss members saying, "By the gods, they're here! They've come! Heads up, flaming youth! Hither comes your destiny!" And he throws his box at them.
It's like a red box, right?
Yeah, it's like and it's like a red science box.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a jewelry box a little bit.
Yeah, and he's like, "Go fulfill thy promise. Realize all of you are thou art." And they go and start running for their lives.
Yeah, they start running from this gang. The gang who was beating up this old man now
Because they
starts
wanted
chasing.
the box, right?
Yeah. Then we
Now start chasing soon-to-be Kiss.
Yeah, we meet the other guys, Peter, Chris, and Ace Farrelly, and
Sly? Ace Frehley.
Ace.
Ryan said his name at least like 5 different times.
I
already
am
in
not
this
listening
episode.
to Ryan says just for his Kiss hate is not tolerated here, and will be replaced by my Kiss ignorance.
Only I'm allowed to hate and love Kiss. You guys have to stay lukewarm at best.
So they like run in and they have this goofy scene where they throw the box at.
They're playing pinball.
Yeah,
And
and-
Ace Frehley's like super nerd. Like he like talks like Beast does in the '60s X-Men comics, where he's like, "Oh well, I do declare that the
I
whatever."
do declare. It's like a
That's
seven
my
bell.
impression of a smart
My
guy.
stars and garters.
Yeah,
All my stars and garters. I am gained the vapors, sir.
yeah. So he's Talia from Batman Odyssey, but he says like that pinball is a metaphor for
Pinball
the
is a
universe.
very complex.
Yeah,
system
and all
of
this stuff. And
knowledge.
does his character stay like this for the rest of the book, or is it only on these first like 2 pages?
I think it's more for his first like 2 pages.
Yeah, much like in Kiss canon themselves, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss are super forgotten and underrated for the rest of this book.
Weirdly enough, the only 2 members' names I know are Peter Criss.
From
and-
Family Guy.
Yes, just from Family Guy.
By the way,
and Gene Simmons.
By the way, I'm so glad we're doing an Eminem episode because this is the only time I could do what Ryan is doing with an episode, which is nerding out about music stuff. So, getting into the story, they meet up. The Kiss unite, and they get hounded by these guys that beat up the old man. And then they open the box in order to escape. And inside are a bunch of Kiss action figures and
And
like
a star.
shurikens.
Yeah.
It's like a shuriken, but it's a star, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I forgot about this.
And
This is
then
great.
And then they turn into
More merchandising by Kiss.
Yeah. They enter a phone booth. They open the box and they exit the phone booth as Kiss,
Ass kiss.
as ass kissers. You're kissing asses. And then Gene Simmons breathes fire. I forget the fucking superhero names. They have the same superhero names they have on the show.
He's. I think Gene Simmons is the demon.
Yeah, the demon.
Let me think. Paul Stanley is Starchild.
Oh yeah, Star Child and
Ace Frehley and Peter Criss are Forgotten.
it's like it's a Catman or something like that.
Yeah.
So the demon, Gene Simmons breathes fire on them.
He like tortures these people.
Yeah, he's fucking hardcore. He's my favorite
Yeah.
part. And Star Child is just like about to fight this guy, he says, "Well, all right, a Bruce Lee fan, but I got news for you, Nunchakaroo. The dragon is dead. You dig it? Dead and gone, and you're paralyzed with grief." And you like paralyze the guy with his powers.
So now at this point, they're wearing all their stage gear, and Paul Stanley has his classic like just chest outfit on.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a onesie spandex that you cut out the whole front top of.
Yeah. It goes pretty deep on him too.
Yeah, it goes deep.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine like everyone's pretty normal around him? Like everyone's like, "Oh, just kiss. What's the big deal?" But like no one's like, "Oh, this guy with, like a no shirt on."
This is also the Marvel Universe. There's a lot
Oh,
of
spoilers,
crazy
by the way. This book takes place in the Marvel
Oh,
universe.
yeah. For the record, Paul Stanley still wears that outfit, and he's like way old now.
Ew.
Yeah, ew.
So
Don't get if you go see Kiss, I highly recommend it. Don't sit in the front.
So then Star Child teleports them to.
Their powers are never like exposition explained. They just do these things.
Yeah, I guess Star Child has teleportation.
I'm cool with that. I just assume Kiss can do these naturally.
Demon has like fire breath, like you mentioned. I think Catman turns into a cat in the cat stuff. Like, wow, I'm Catman.
I wish we could have referenced the Superman Silver Age issues, but we weren't allowed to, Sly.
I will never live this down.
You won't.
I hope we never do it and it goes down in Divisive Issues canon as like the Lost episode.
We never do
The
it.
time Joe Ciano never got what he wanted.
It'll be like issue 200, and it'll be like, finally, the legendary Catman episode, and they'll be like, it's alright, and fans will be like, finally, the prophecy's been fulfilled.
The prophecies were true. This book is truly all right.
So they teleport to Ellis Island, and where the Statue of Liberty is, and they're like, what have we become? We're monsters. But it's awesome, I guess.
I love how quickly they're like, we super murdered a bunch of people.
Yeah. So, and then Sarge has like, oh, look at the moon, it's so overstuffed. And Demon's just like, shut the fuck up about the fucking moon. But it turns out that's not moon. It's a battle station by Doom. Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my favorite part when reading this because I just assumed this was just like a random Kiss story, and then Doctor Doom shows up.
He shows up with
And I'm like,
gypsies
what?
her serenading him and like throwing flowers at him.
Spoilers, they're gonna kill those gypsies too.
But it's okay. They're
Spoilers: those
robots.
gypsies are also robots.
They're
But they
Doombots.
don't know that when they set them on
Oh yeah,
fire.
they start killing them and then like, oh, they're Doombots. That's very convenient. I think they literally say that. That's very convenient. They're Doombots.
They do. They're like, oh, good thing, because we almost killed those
Yeah.
women.
So the Dr. Doom was like, "Oh, I'm a gypsy, and I want the magic of that box," which I find really weird that Doctor Doom wants to like Kiss.
They surprisingly go deep into Doctor Doom's backstory in this book.
Yeah,
they
They
do.
reference Doctor Doom's backstory more than 95% of Fantastic Four comics.
Yeah, and also they even have like this comic comes with a bunch of backup stuff like the history of Kiss.
I didn't read those.
Yeah, me neither. I don't give a shit. Yeah, history of Kiss.
Has
So-
history of Doctor Doom.
Yeah, history of
Does it?
Doctor Doom. I was gonna say it has
Yeah.
history of Doctor Doom. So I imagine like Kiss fans saying, "Who's this Doctor Doom fella?" And they're like, "Oh, now I know. He's a gypsy that has magic powers."
This
Okay.
Doctor Doom guy seems pretty rad. Where can I see more of him?
I was gonna read those things, and then I saw all these weird posed pictures of Kiss with first aid kits. I was like, I'm okay.
That's them giving the blood transfusions, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Now, that actually, you said like Kiss fans find out about Doctor Doom. I wanted to ask you guys, who's the audience for this? Comic fans or Kiss fans?
I think Kiss fans.
Kiss fans.
Kiss fans? It's like Kiss fans that want some memorabilia.
Yeah.
It's like Kiss fans who want to read Kiss in a comic book,
Okay.
and then they also get this wonderful gateway to the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I
It's
think,
like, I've bought
I think Marvel saw
magazines-
this as an opportunity. Like, we can make people be like, "Hey, who's this Doctor Doom fella?
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to more of him."
Which is actually pretty smart. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, I've bought magazines because, like, my favorite band did a spotlight article. Like, magazines I would never read without that. So, like, you know, that would be... if I was a big Kiss fan in the 70s, I could see buying this comic.
Yeah. So then they beat Doctor Doom, but like people are like a crowd's gathering off panel. They just say a crowd's gathering. You have to leave. We can't draw this.
How do they beat Doctor Doom?
They just fire beef on him.
Yeah, they kind of like burn all of his Doom bots, and
Yeah.
and then they just kind of teleport out of there.
Yeah,
I
there's-
get why he wants this box, because if it's that powerful that these total novices could just beat Doctor Doom...
Yeah. By the way, Doctor Doom is like the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, they're like, "Oh, we can beat Doctor Doom," and it turns out to be a Doom bot because
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, Doctor Doom can't be defeated that easily. It was actually just my doppelganger."
But this is really him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they beat him, or did they just kind of bail?
No, Doctor Doom bails. He's like, "Oh, I can't beat them. I have to go."
Oh, okay.
Their Kiss power is too much for me.
Do you think that these Kiss action figures are actually just reformed Infinity Stones?
I think that Doctor Doom just wants to really look like Kiss, and that's why he doesn't want
I-
it for the
that's what I
powers,
think
He just
too.
wants the aesthetics of it.
He's just like, "I just want that look. I want that tongue."
Yeah,
Imagine Doctor Doom's mask with that tongue coming out.
that would be awesome. if we have any really talented artistic fans, please draw us some Kiss Dr. Doom /fic and email us to
my God.
Gmail.
Gene Simmons tonguing Dr. Doom.
We will absolutely make that like our Twitter profile picture or something because that is amazing.
So then we have a bunch of cameos.
Especially since Ryan loves Kiss so much.
Also, hate.
I love hate.
It's both.
Then they have a bunch of needless cameos in the Marvel Universe, so people reading this are like, who's
They're
this
not
Spider-Man
needless,
fella?
Spider-Man is like, what's going on? I better call the Fantastic Four. And the Fantastic Four is like, what's going on? I better call the Avengers. And the Avengers are like, what's going on? We better call Doctor Strange.
Doctor
And
Strange's like, I don't
Strange
know.
says, what's going on? Better call the Defenders.
And then it just,
Who are all conveniently in his basement.
yeah. They're just waiting there like,
They're all recording a podcast.
the Defenders, by the way, are like a team of non-hero heroes. Like they like coincidentally team up. It's like the Hulk, Submariner, like a bunch of people that normally like blow up shit.
This actually I found really interesting. Daredevil's on this page.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in the Defenders.
Me neither.
And they're making a show of the Defenders on Netflix, and Daredevil's going to be in it. And I was like, oh, that's just because he was on the Netflix show. Apparently, I learned from the Kiss comic that he has a history with the team.
See, this book's informative and entertaining.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's actually them calling because
Unless he
We're gonna
wasn't,
skip
and they
this.
just fucked this up.
I feel like they did, but
Either way,
We'll look
there's
afterwards.
a history. This is canon.
it is.
So then we get to part 2, precisely as hot as hell, and Gene and Paul end up in what looks like heaven, and a bunch of angels start like crossing them.
Oh yeah, this happens like out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
There's
God-
all these like interviews, and then it cuts to part 2, like interviews like in text.
Yeah.
And then it's part 2, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Isn't Mephisto there?
First, the gods.
Ryan
there.
just loves spoiling future parts of this
Yeah.
book right now.
So God is actually God, Yahweh, our Lord and Savior.
I
There.
always get him confused with the red Marvel villain.
so he's like, "Oh, you're in paradise now. Enjoy your stay." And Paul's like, "I love this." And Gene Simmons is like, "I don't buy this. I'm a demon. I hate heaven." And then he starts breathing fire on all the angels.
Who are also Doom bots. No, I'm just
Yeah, so first they kill innocent people, then they try to kill women, and it ends up being robots. Now he's just literally killing angels.
They're trying to get killing angels, but coincidentally, they're actually demons. And it's Mephisto in disguise.
Oh, okay.
And Mephisto's like, "Oh, yes, you saw through my disguise, but you're in hell. Don't you love hell?"
But like again, they didn't see through the disguise. Just like Dr. Doom was like, you saw through my robots. They didn't. They just got lucky because they tried to murder these things.
Yeah. And so then they're
I feel like if they,
I'm really this is Mephisto's second appearance on our podcast.
I feel like if they saw through the disguise, Gene Simmons wouldn't have burned them because he likes demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then turns out another one of Star Child's powers is to reveal their true selves. So he casts light on the demons with his eye, and they turn from demons to slugs. So all demons are slugs, I guess.
They're just really wretched looking ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Gene Simmons is like, "Oh, send us back," and Mephisto's like, "Okay, yeah."
Oh, wretched looking ladies, let's get out of here because we're Kiss.
And then they're like, "Oh, yeah."
I'd rather suffer in earth than rule in hell or something.
Same shit that Lucifer says.
Yeah.
And Mephisto's like, "Okay, get the fuck out of here. You beat me. You beat me. You're stronger than Doom and Mephisto. Kiss powers."
I'm clearly no match for you, Kiss. You
Do
guys
you
better
think
get
Kiss
out of
is
here.
gonna be in Civil War?
I think they'd be the deciding factor in Civil War.
They'll be like Doctor Strange and the Watcher in the original Civil War, where like we're too powerful, we can't intercede. We turn the tide too much on this political issue. And so then cuts to the Andromeda Hustle, which is part 3, which is the two other nobodies. I forget their fucking names. Whatever. Cat Guy and
Peter Criss and Ace Frehley.
Frelly. Ace Frelly are like they end up on like a Guardians of the Galaxy spaceship with all these weird kooky aliens around.
Yeah, they're really hooked on a feeling when they get there, and
Yeah.
Peter Criss is totally hitting it up with this actual cat lady based
yeah,
on her
Beth.
makeup.
This furry. Yeah, she's pretty hot.
Beth,
I'd bang her.
That joke is for all the Kiss fans, because Beth is the best Kiss song. Deal with it.
So Beth is a furry. That's
Yeah,
canon.
I can't contest with. I think "Rock and Roll All Night" is the best Kiss song.
Is Beth a furry in the actual song?
I probably not. But actually, probably. I don't know.
I like to imagine all the Kiss fans are like, "No, this breaks the law."
Yeah, I'm gonna say on the record that Beth is definitely a furry in the Kiss song Beth.
So
Well, Ryan's our Kiss expert, so it must be true.
Yeah.
So then the cat guy, I forget his fucking name. It's the cat guy.
Peter Criss, writer of hit song Beth.
So
Did you write Beth?
So
Yeah.
that has to be canon then, because Peter Chris wants to fuck Beth, and she's a furry. So Peter Chris is a furry. And
Yeah, he dresses like he's the first furry.
Okay, you're right. He's the first furry. The first furry gets his wish fulfillment
Yeah.
and almost fucks a furry, but they have to leave because
Essentially, like, there's this whole subplot with, like, the whatever Beth's, like, boyfriend is, like, the heavy boss of, like, this space station, and they wind up fighting him, and then they have to go. And Peter Chris and the lady, I think, have, like, a very, like, somewhat heartfelt goodbye.
yeah, Steve Gerber's writing really shines in the story. This empathic scene.
It's not bad.
I remember when Joe read it, he cried at this point, I think.
I was like, I want to rock and roll and I'm party every day. Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, so Peter Chris and this Beth have a very romantic relationship, but then he has to leave and meet with Jean, and they go to Latveria.
I am shocked that this doesn't end with a concert, this issue.
That's a really good point. It doesn't.
I'm shocked.
Instead, it ends with that guy with the play hard, play fair, nobody hurts sure.
Oh, from the beginning.
He doesn't talk like Asgard. Now he talks like a regular guy, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta fight Doom, because Doom wants your powers, and you are too powerful to have Doom have your powers. You're more powerful than Doom. You are like God tier." By the way, if this was a regular comic, it would be very boring to have Kiss just kill everyone every issue.
Yeah, so this wasn't an ongoing.
So we're talking about them going to Doom's backstory. This is where Doom got his metal helmet. He got it from these Tibetan monks.
And he also mentions his gypsy mom.
His gypsy mom.
Who had magic powers.
Yeah. And
His
his dad was a gypsy, and he died trying to save Doom. And he died because he's gypsy, and Doom was like, I hate everyone now because my gypsy dad is dead.
Yeah.
And they're in Tibet, actually. And Tibetan monks show up, and it's more Doom bots. And they're like, "Peace with you, Outlanders. Eternal peace." And they take off their cloaks. It's Doombots. And they blow up Doombots. And
Because they needed those disguises, because at this point, Kiss would never hurt innocent people.
I really wish I could go around, like, my whole life just fighting people, assuming that they're Doombots and having it be true.
And then,
Yeah.
then a giant pack of lips shows up and starts sucking them in.
Wait, a pack of what?
A giant rock made out of
with
lips.
big lips.
Big lip.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The
yeah.
lip rock.
Yeah.
And it starts sucking them in, and Star Child's
I
like,
was gonna lick him up.
At this point, I really wanted them to pull out a bomb from their bomb bag and throw it into the mouth like every Zelda game.
and lips just start sucking them in, and Sarge is like, "Don't try to fight it, Curly. Pretend you're making love." And they're like, "No, it's sucking us in. We have to resist." And he's like, "Now, boys, one doesn't resist a lover. The harder you struggle against her, the more fatal her attraction goes.
So
Don't struggle. Don't fight it. Just relax."
they
Really
really
your voice
captured.
is so creepy.
They really captured Paul Stanley's
Oh,
like
God.
creepy machismo here.
Yeah, but it turns out it's like one of those things like quicksand. Like the more you try not to have it suck your dick, it more wants to suck your dick. So they just let it.
That's not how quicksand works. I don't understand that analogy. That's not how that works.
But now that they give up fighting the rock stops trying to suck them in.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, by the way, every scene is just they're at a scene, and like now we have to teleport, and then they teleport. Like there's no reason for any segue between these teleports.
They don't go to place for any reason. They're like, we heard
Fail.
there might
They're
be
just-
Doombots here. Let's go.
No, we heard there might be Tibetan monks here. Oh wait, the Doombox. Oops. I guess we gotta kill you anyway.
I guess we're in heaven now.
Yeah.
So they teleport to an asteroid. And by the way, like the art is like very classic 70s Marvel. Like
Yeah.
if you're reading like 70s Adam Warlock or anything like that, it looks like that except Kiss is in it.
Yeah, like it's honestly, if this was in like a big book and I was flipping through it, this would not stand out as like a special one-off issue. It fits with the Marvel style.
It's actually neat
Because I
because
think that's the point, though. I think
Yeah,
this is just
no, I
such a
agree.
perfect introduction to.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
our other two books in this series, they're trying to replicate more a realistic style. This is trying to be Kiss in Marvel, basically.
Yeah.
So then now on this asteroid, Doom is coincidentally there, and he starts fighting them, and they're all now they're not a match for Doom, and Doom starts
Now
being,
that they have a firmer grasp and like have practiced with their powers, Doom kicks their ass.
yeah, and not Starch, I don't know the other guy weird face mask, star shit on his face.
Ace Frehley.
Ace really is like, oh come on, isn't that a little harsh? Even you must have been a kid once, Curly. And Doom is like, you're right, I was a kid once. And and then the Star Child starts tapping into Doom's mind, saying, "What is it, Doom? What nerve did Ace touch? Talk to me, man." And start going into how Doom's daddy issues caused him to be angry at everything. And so then the guy with the weird belly shirt shows up and says,
The old homeless guy.
yeah, he opens a door in space. It's like they're in space and the door opens out of space and the guys there are saying, "Oh, you know that you became just as bad as people that killed your dad. You are as bad as them." And
Doom like lets them go.
yeah,
Essentially.
Doom lets him
Yeah.
go. Doom
Yeah.
is like,
You win this time.
Yeah.
Like he gets guilt tripped into like letting them
Yeah, he gets
go.
guilt tripped by the old
Yeah.
guy. The old guy says, "Would your father approve of these?"
Yeah, the old guy who knows all about Doom's dad.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Do you know
is
who
the-
he? I thought wasn't Doom's like lackey Boris?
This is not Boris.
It was.
Imagine Boris, by the way, is actually like a wise old guy, and this is like a guy in the belly shirt.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I feel like
his-
if Boris is like actually like a Kiss fan, this is what like because essentially it's Boris.
I feel like
but they
at
make
this
him a Kiss
point
fan.
in Marvel's history, Kiss might have been the first people to touch Doom's human side.
This is the most sympathetic Doom story yet at this point.
Yeah, probably.
And this guy's like, would your father approve of these emotions, these desires, Dr. Doom? He was a physician, a healer. And Doom's like, you dare? No man invokes my father's name against me and lives. And guy's like, strike me down, Victor. And Doom's like, I cannot. Not you. Not the man who tutored my mother in the mystic arts. The man who spoke the eulogy over her grave. So this guy in the belly shirt was the guy who taught Doom's mother her magic powers.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I don't want your shit anymore. Get the fuck out. And they help her out. And now they're back on Ellis Island. They turn back to regular, ugly Gene Simmons and company.
That's right. They're
And-
not a good-looking group of guys. Joe.
I never said that they were.
Joe.
Joe
not.
finds him hot.
Why are we image shaming Kiss? Right
Why are you
now?
kink shaming Joe? He
They-
finds aging rock stars sexy, Ryan.
They
Why are you putting words in my mouth? A and Ryan. Why is Ryan body shaming these men?
because it's Kiss. They deserve it. The only people that I feel deserve body shaming is Kiss.
So, and the powers go back to the box, and the old guy's like, but one day you must become Kiss again. The power will be stored in here until that day comes. And they're like, why is it called a box of Kiss? And the old guy's like, I don't know.
Oh, but it's the box because they don't call themselves Kiss this whole time. The box is like
KYS.
it's KZYSZ or something.
Yeah.
Like it's something that up until they said this, I did not realize it was pronounced Kiss.
Yeah, me too.
And they're like, I guess that's a good name for us. We're Kiss, which is the perfect name for a group of superheroes.
Yeah.
The
What would you guys think of?
Oh, it's great.
I love
I
it.
agree.
It's exactly what Kiss in the Marvel universe should be.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
The perfect writer, the perfect
'cause
artist.
Steve Gerber's so tongue in cheek with so many things, and like it's great. It's like if you were like, I want a serious comic, this is not it. But if you're like you know what,
If you
yeah.
want a serious comic, and this is like your first comic, you made the wrongest
Yeah,
choice of your life.
but like I'm not saying like
But it's also like a really good introduction. Like you get all the major players of the Marvel universe at that time. Like
surprisingly, yeah.
yeah.
So if you're a Kiss fan who wants to get into Marvel, track down a torrent of this comic because it costs like $1 million. Because
Yeah.
supposedly it has Kiss's blood in it. So, and if you don't own this comic, you'll get Kiss's blood in your comic, or maybe not.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe it's in a Sports Illustrated issue. So track that down instead. Also, try to list every single artist and writer that's on this book because there's a lot.
Because the interviews and there's a lot of articles and stuff. It's kind of like a big magazine. Almost.
Yeah, it's like maybe this was
No,
like
it was the magazine format.
Yeah.
Alan Weiss, Mary Severin's an anchor on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is like an all-star.
That is, yeah.
This is like
she's
an all-star
amazing.
cast on this book. Like all these books, by the way, these are not like nobodies.
Yeah.
No, I think Marvel knew the opportunity this was to cross over to like a really big fan base.
Yeah.
And I think they swung for the fences.
Like when these come out, do these actually sell well?
Yeah, they had a sequel to this, which wasn't as hyped up and didn't sell as well, but this one sold well because it was like an event.
That's interesting.
And but yeah, other creators are also Rich Buckler, who I don't know, And the embellisher is Al Milgrom, who's familiar, but I can't remember
Al
what he did.
Milgrom did West Coast Avengers.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
He created Ant-Man from the Ant-Man movie.
And George Costanza is the calligrapher. Actually, it's John Costanza. But yeah, and
Yeah, this is like
Irv Watanabe. Actually, Irv Watanabe.
Watanabe. This is like if you were to pitch a Marvel book in like 1977, this is who you would want.
It's
on.
like the
Yeah.
all-star writing
Yeah.
artist team. So now getting to our next book, which is Godzilla versus Charles Barkley.
So now I know a lot about Kiss. I know nothing about sports. Joe knows more about sports.
I know.
Tell us about
sports.
Charles Barkley and his life, Joe.
Charles Barkley.
All I know from him is Space Jam.
Me too.
He's
And Charles Barkley, shut up and jam.
Yeah.
no, he's a very famous basketball player. But I think he's top 50 all time in the NBA. I think he had a really long 16-year career,
Wow.
which is a very long time in basketball.
It's almost as long as we've been doing this podcast. It feels like sometimes.
It fucking takes forever. This fucking bullshit.
No, but like at his basic core, Charles Barkley is that guy from Space Jam. Like he's a very talented
He's the
basketball
shorter
player.
one, right?
No, that's Muggsy Bogues.
Damn.
Charles Barkley is the one
Is
who
he tall?
he's not Patrick Ewing or or I think it's Chris Bradley.
Or
who's, like, the
Newman. He's
tall-
not Newman
we were
either. Or
talking about.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Bill Murray.
yeah. He's the guy.
Lola Bunny.
I think he's the guy who, when he's walking through the house, he's like, "Oh, hey, it's Charles Barkley," and then he can't play in the kids' school.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
"You're not Charles
And he-
Barkley.
and
You're
he
some
stands there-
wannabe."
And he stands there really sad on the fence.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
yeah. But he does. What does he do? He does commercials with like Spike Lee and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
He's on, I think, the NBA TNT panel. He's very entertaining, Charles Barkley.
And
Which is why I'm not surprised he's done
So when
something
did
like
this come out?
this came out like 1992, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Is this
Yeah.
a pre-Space Jam, Charles Barkley?
This is pre-Space Jam Charles Barkley.
So, just to, getting back to
I
Godzilla.
forget that there was a pre-Space Jam anything.
Godzilla is the
like
king of
before Space
monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And a giant, and a giant thunder lizard who breathes fire on everything.
He shows up as abruptly in this explanation as he does in this book.
So, this book, I don't know the backstory or what led.
I think this was a commercial. Like this was like a very famous commercial, and then they made this comic.
Oh, it
book
was. That's a
tie-in.
good point. It was a commercial.
Yeah.
That was Godzilla vs. Barkley commercial. I don't know what for, but I guess that
I assume for shoes.
maybe it was. I think it was for shoes actually.
That makes the climax of the story make a lot more sense.
Yes.
So just to get into the backstory and the publisher, this is not Marvel. This is Dark Horse Comics, and Dark Horse Comics is a publisher that usually does very licensed stuff.
They have done more with licensed properties than most other companies have done with anything.
Yeah, so in the old days, like in the 70s and 80s, Marvel picked up a lot of licenses like Star Wars and stuff. Dark Horse, like in the 90s, they pretty much picked up all licenses that Marvel used to
They
have.
published Star Wars for like a couple decades.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
like modern Disney got control of Star Wars. Dark Horse gave over their rights to Marvel, and they now have like a trade of all the Dark Horse best of books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Dark Horse now they do I know they do the Buffy comics.
Yeah.
I
Which
think
is
they
supposed to be very
do
good.
the Firefly ones too.
Yeah.
And they've done like incredible stuff with them.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
think that they showed that licensed properties can really work.
Yeah, in the 90s and 2000s, if you were a fan of a TV show or a film series and you wanted to pick up the comic, you were usually picking up a Dark Horse comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they also have like non-licensed books. They have the Goon.
Yeah, they have a lot of good
They have
non-licensed
books.
Colin Bunn, I believe Harrow County. I think that's his book. So
So
They're great.
the book opens with the classic Godzilla introduction, which is a bunch of Japanese people on the fishing boats are like, "Oh, there's a big storm. What's going on?" And there's something below us, Captain. And Godzilla comes out of the ocean. And
Well, no. First, the guy's like, "I hope it's not Godzilla," and they're like, "It's bad luck to even say Godzilla." And he's basically like, "Well, don't tell Godzilla that." And then Godzilla shows
yeah.
up.
And
did somebody say my name? Godzilla?
And we go from the classic Godzilla intro to the classic Charles Barkley intro. Not really, because actually a kid and his grandpa, they're walking because they want to meet Charles Barkley on the beach.
The
And
kid's the biggest Charles Barkley fan.
yeah, you gotta let me in, man. I'm Barkley's biggest fan. And the guy's like, be the kid, shoot. And there's a bunch of other guys online waiting there. And they're like, I've come all the way from Brisbane. I am Charles Barkley's biggest fan. And one guy's like, I'm an important Hollywood producer, and I'm Barkley's biggest fan.
I'm Spartacus.
And and they're like, oh no, I gotta meet Barkley first. He can't let me in. The guy's just like, get the fuck out of here, kid. So the kid goes to Grandpa saying, they act like I was John Hinckley or something. And the Grandpa's like, Matthew, when you get as big as Barkley, you have to take precautions. Maybe you get as big as that someday. And the kid's like, doing what? I don't know. Maybe you'll be a great warrior like Barkley.
So this is where they just casually drop in that Charles Barkley is a great warrior.
I might have something held in my pocket that might help you.
I also love that his grandpa is also the sensei from Batman Odyssey.
This young African American child from where are they, Chicago or something?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, from the streets of Chicago that he wants to be a basketball player, has an old Scottish dad, I guess, based on Sly's interpretation.
I can't do a Shaft impression, so. I might have something in my pocket that could help you. This is a magic silver dollar my grandpa gave me when I was your age.
Does it say it's magic?
Yes, a silver dollar. It has magical properties.
See, I for some
Here we
reason
go.
took this as a lucky charm, like Fry's 7-leaf clover, but no, it's straight up magic, as we find out later.
And the kid's like, what's it ever do for you? Boy, I once pitched a no-hitter against New York.
So he gives him a magic silver dollar that helped him pitch a no-hitter, which is definitely the same kind of powers it will display later.
Yeah.
Also, no hitter. Why not really sell and make it a perfect game?
Well, it's magic. It's not.
Okay, it can make a Barkley huge, but it can't fucking get.
God, we're just
Spoilers!
spoiling everything today.
So there's a drowning victim on the beach, and it's one of the guys that was on the boat, and he's...
What?
Yeah, they were in Japan.
They were in Japan.
And now
Yeah.
it's in Chicago.
Or maybe they're in LA. Maybe they're
It
in
cannot
California.
be Chicago.
Let me see what
Maybe they're in
It
California.
absolutely cannot be. There's no way. It's physically impossible for that fishing boat, unless they're fishing in the Great Lakes.
So if it's California, that makes sense.
So the Japanese people are actually, for some reason, we're actually off the coast of California. And this is in California.
Okay.
But I don't know why they're in California. But the guy is now like, oh, Godzilla is coming. Oh, sorry, I was racist.
No, I think that was a reference to the 2000 movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Godzilla suck dick.
Just keep ad-libbing these movies.
No, that's a real thing from the movie.
What?
There's a Godzilla movie where he's saying Godzilla and does something in Japanese, but it sounds like Godzilla suck dick.
That's whatever. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
He's saying something in Japanese, but it's like
Yeah.
Godzilla suck dick. So the guy's like, Godzilla's coming. You have to get back to the coast. And the kid's like, man, don't you know what Godzilla is? And they're like, never heard of Godzilla. And he's like, he's a monster. I guess he's the biggest monster of all time. They call him the king of monsters. What are you, the king of liars? Oh yeah, look out there! And Godzilla's literally right behind this guy.
Same thing as before. Did somebody say Godzilla?
I think Godzilla's just really friendly. It's like, oh, hey, somebody said my name.
Yeah. Is
Oh, what
someone
did I-
challenging me to a sports off?
Yeah.
And then he just walks around the city. It's like, what a nice city you have. And he just actually knocks over buildings. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
And then everyone's evacuating the beach. And the kid's like, but Gramps, the magic silver dollar, I can use to stop Godzilla. You know, because he can make a no-hitter against New York. He can beat Godzilla. Matthew, you ain't ready to take on Godzilla.
As if he will ever be ready. He's a child.
Yeah.
It's a giant monster.
And he's like, not me, Gramps. Charles Barkley's Earth's greatest warrior. Only he can stop Godzilla. And then he starts skateboarding towards Charles
Yeah,
Barkley.
and at the same time, he goes, he sees these fighter jets and stuff that
Yeah.
are going to attack Godzilla, and he's like, those guys don't know what they're in for. So how does he know so much about Godzilla
Yeah.
and the American military
Because
knows
he's a little
nothing?
kid.
Yeah.
Every little kid knows about Godzilla.
But the American military, and he's like, these silly guys, and
Yeah.
they get murdered.
You know, they show people eject. They show guys ejecting out of the fighter jets.
But still,
So then he
he
goes
goes
to
federal
see...
deficit that might as well be killing people.
This was a better time.
This was the 90s.
They meet the kid skateboards up to Charles Barkley because it's 90s.
This is my favorite line. Can I say this?
Which one?
So he's like, Charles Barkley, take the silver dollar and use it to defeat Godzilla. And Charles Barkley says, I don't have to fight no monster, and I don't need your dollar.
Yeah.
And he says, but Charles Barkley, you're Earth's greatest warrior. And he goes, you have a good point. You are right.
Yes.
And then he just walks away with the kid. He's like, I'll come with you.
The kid's like, you gotta stop Godzilla. Take this dollar. I don't have to stop that ugly monster. I don't want your dollar. You want to give me a dollar? Buy a ticket to the game. So Barkley's a dick too.
Yeah.
So then Barkley's like, "Oh, you're right, kid. I have to fight Godzilla because I'm Earth's greatest warrior."
Now that you
And then
mention
he
it,
just takes him to go play basketball.
Yeah,
He doesn't even like.
but
he
first,
doesn't-
his concierge is like, "What if you say something that offends somebody, like an old literal lady in Vermont?"
concierge.
I mean,
Hotel. His
I mean-
PR man.
I mean his entourage, I guess.
His entourage. That makes more sense. He's not a hotel.
What's a concierge?
Concierge is the guy in the front desk at a hotel.
His entourage is like, what if you say something that offends somebody, like a little old lady in Vermont? And he's like, "You guys, tell her to run me, okay? Now give me some space."
So he's like, you take your PC culture bullshit. I'm gonna go fight Godzilla.
Yeah, so then he goes to play basketball.
he really is our
With the
greatest
kid.
hero.
Yeah, while Earth's being destroyed. I got some.
That's greatest warrior.
He's got to warm up.
And they're like making bets like, "Oh, you gotta give me 15 to 1 odds because I'm shorter than you."
Yeah, they want to play to 15. The kid gets a handicap of 13 points. Why I remember this so specifically, I don't know.
This is my favorite kind.
And he's like, I'm gonna use the magic silver dollar to win.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Who wants to take out the ball?" And they flip for it, and they flip the coin, and it just stands on the edge. And Barkley goes to pick it up, like, "Oh, that can't be right." And then as he picks it up, he turns gigantic.
Like Godzilla's size.
Yeah, and he's like, "Now I feel like playing some hoops."
His basketball also gets giants.
yeah, the basketball he's holding it gets giant.
Yeah.
And the helicopter shaking around Godzilla, saying, "What's going on in the situation? Oh my God, Godzilla's destroying everything! And oh my God, Charles Barkley's here too!"
I love a world where no one knows who Godzilla is, but everyone knows who Charles Barkley
Yeah.
is.
Charles Barkley is great.
Yeah, but like, does he
You
have
knucklehead
does he have the brand recognition that Godzilla has?
in America.
We have to keep in mind this is before Godzilla '97.
This is before Space Jam. How did anyone even know who Charles Barkley was?
This is like the origin story.
He was really good, Ryan.
This is before they were famous, Ryan. This is their coming of age story. And then Barkley tosses his helicopter, saying, "Well, I'm going to lead the monster out of the city." And he throws the basketball at.
Yeah, do you like that Charles Barkley goes out of his way to ensure there's no like collateral damage?
Charles
and-
Barkley,
and
the
takes
guy,
the fight out of the city.
the guy who tells a little kid to fuck off, is a better hero than Superman.
Yeah. And he's like, "How about a suitcase skin? You up for a game?" And he bounces the ball off Godzilla's head.
Yeah.
And Godzilla.
So he gets really big, and the first thing he does is bully Godzilla.
Yeah. And Godzilla starts breathing fire on him, and Charles Barkley is just walking out of the way, saying, "Oh yeah, I can't touch this, baby."
I'm Earth's greatest warrior,
Yeah.
Charles Barkley.
And they go to the NASA, whatever, the space shuttle station nearby, and there's like a shuttle scaffolding, and he pulls
Shaped just like a basketball hoop.
yeah, and he pulls it down and makes a hoop for them, and he's like, "We're gonna play a basketball game. You just can't breathe fire on me, and we'll play this game together."
I said this is a mismatch. Barkley's like inner post game. Unless Godzilla has a very good range shot, I just don't see this going well for Godzilla. Besides the fact that Godzilla's never played basketball before, I just think he's outmatched.
Do you know what I would do if I could adapt this book to a feature film? I would have Joe as sports commentator, like, and there's Charles Barkley going down the court.
He's got a great post game right now. As long as Barkley keeps Godzilla in the paint, I think he's gonna be successful.
So then the kid and the grandpa, their cars parked right outside the fight, and they're watching this. And the kid's like, "I got Charles's gig. I'm like his manager now." And grandpa's like, "Boy, he doesn't even know your name," which is a good point. We don't even know his kid's fucking name.
Yeah, he's kid.
No, he's a name. I forgot what it was, but
Boy.
boy. I said boy.
Boy, I said boy. I said sir. I said sir.
His grandpa's Foghorn Leghorn now.
So Godzilla gets a dunk on Barkley by using his tail to sweep him, and basically doing a foul. And Barkley's like, okay, you sure you never played in the NBA? Because that was a major league hit. But now, so
Because in the NBA, they always use their tails to
Yeah.
sweep people.
Well, early '90s basketball was a lot more physical than the basketball of today.
Oh, is that true?
Yes.
And a lot more reptilian?
and he's like, "In your face, Godzilla," he says as he dunks the ball.
I actually think some of his clips are pretty great.
Yeah, and it's like a big splash page, a double page splash page of him just dunking on Godzilla and just showing him up. And he's like, "Whoop, there it is!" And like a crowd's gathering with signs saying, "Go Charles!" And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Charles is beating Godzilla in the game of basketball. Who would have thought Charles Barkley is better at basketball than Godzilla?"
Godzilla who like can't touch his hands together because his arms are
Yeah.
so short.
A guy in a rubber outfit that most of the time who can't even see outside his costume.
Yeah, it's more amazing that like Godzilla can even dribble the ball. at
Yeah.
this point.
And then Godzilla gets pissed off and melts the ball with his fire breath. And Charles Barkley's like, "What's the matter with you? You gonna trash the ball when the game doesn't go your way? You got some moves, a little work. You can maybe get a tryout of the Bulls, one of them second-rate teams. You're gonna be toasting opposition. Where's your sense of honor?"
The fact that he mentions the Bulls is great because the Bulls are going to. I don't know if at this point they're going to go on to win like 5 NBA championships in this era.
Was Michael Jordan on the team at that time?
Yes.
So he's like, come here. He like puts his hand over his shoulder and starts walking away to the sunset. And he's like, come here.
They do. They have that buddy moment.
Yeah,
where
he
like,
says he's gonna get him some serious equipment.
Let me talk to you. You just need the right attitude and the right equipment. I know some people make you some shoes.
Who?
He just has shoes next scene.
Yeah, they're size 13,000 triple E sneakers, whatever that means.
The E means like it's like extra wide. Essentially.
Okay. So basically, Godzilla has the sneakers, and he tells Godzilla, "You gotta do 1,000,000 layups. I'll be checking on you." And he's like, "Okay, go see you in 100 years." So
Just like in Grounded, making empty promises and walking away.
Not does he walk away? He also shrinks as soon as he says this.
yeah, and this is like I guess this is like this story's equivalent of when Godzilla goes underwater for 100 years to resurface when Earth needs him again.
Just tell them to practice.
When the Monstars come.
Yeah, the
100
monsters come.
years from now.
So then it says in the caption, Godzilla got busy as Godzilla starts playing basketball with his nice new shoes.
Do they say are they Nikes?
They have the swoosh. It's Nikes.
Okay.
So then Charles takes a plane back to California, and kids like
Chicago.
kids in it's in California,
It's Chicago.
It's not Chicago, Ryan.
and the
It
kids
was
are
never Chicago, Ryan.
and the kids arguing with this other kid, and the kid's like, you don't know Barkley, you can't switch that ball, and the kid's like, I do and I can. Just forget about Barkley. I'll bet you buck you can't switch that ball. I don't have a buck. And Barkley's like, yo, Matthew, I owe you $1. And the kid is like, thanks, Barkley, and throws the ball into the basket and goes, there it is, swoosh.
I wish that the kid was like, you're not Charles Barkley, you're just an imposter.
You're just some wannabe. Get out here, you wannabe.
That ends the saga of Godzilla vs. Charles
Yeah,
Barkley.
the epic saga.
As I asked for the last book, who was this for?
People love great stuff.
Okay.
If you enjoy things.
This book was amazing.
This book is amazing, but like when they wrote this, like,
People who saw the commercial and wanted the full story. Apparently,
okay, I guess.
People who want to, like, just like the Kiss story. When you read the Kiss book, you want to learn more about Marvel. You watch the commercial, you want to learn the lore of Godzilla and Charles Barkley.
I wonder
This is a
if-
jumping
I-
on point for both Godzilla fans and
I
Charles
wonder
Barkley
if
fans.
Dark Horse had a Godzilla book at that time.
They did.
They did?
They have. I got this as part of like a Godzilla set.
That's awesome.
So, and also I should mention the creative team. Mike Barron wrote the script. Jeff Bullard did the pencils, and Alan Smithy did the plot. And Alan Smithy is a well-known alias for people who don't want to get their name on
Yeah.
a Hollywood production.
So are we in agreement that so far both of these books are like 10 out of 10?
yeah, these are all winners.
Yeah.
So our final story is a return to two characters we visited before:
Kinda.
Punisher and Eminem. So Eminem versus the Punisher.
Eminem versus the Punisher.
When did this come out?
It came out in 2009.
Okay. Wow, that's
That's much later than I thought.
me too.
Yeah. And
Wow.
and also this was a big hype issue too. It was a digital comics event. It's like one of the big digital events of Marvel. They're hyping up their Marvel digital service, and
And this has a grade A creative team as well.
yeah, the writer is Fred Van Lente.
Fred Van Lente wrote the most recent Hercules series with Greg Pak, and he wrote an amazing Valiant book called The Ivar Time Walker. Fred Van Lente is great.
He
He's
also,
a great
I think
writer.
he did a some of the volumes of the Marvel Zombies. The later, I think.
I think
4
he
and
did
5.
too. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
he's awesome.
the artist is Salvador Larroca, we've done before.
We talked about him for She Lies with Angels.
Yes. He now does the Darth Vader comic book for Marvel.
Yes, and he's done a lot of.
Iron Man.
Yeah, he did Fractions Iron Man.
Yeah.
He is a staple.
Yes. Of Marvel.
His work on this book is an improvement over She Lies with Angels, Mo. I really like his work on this book.
We didn't really dump on his art.
No, we
for
didn't,
She
but
Lies
I
with
think
Angels
this is a clear growth from She Lies with
Yeah,
Angels, which
absolutely.
is like 8 years before this.
He does a realistic style really well.
Yeah, and this is very popular for this book because this is like trying to draw Eminem as he looks like in real life, and does a good job. Like it looks like If you ever read any like photorealistic book like Regland or any for
Or even, Salvador Larroca does a book with Warren Ellis called New Universal that every character is based on an actor.
oh, so he's done this out before.
Yeah, he's done this kind of thing before.
Yeah, so it had an A-list team, and it was done. I think it was done to hype up Eminem's new album. And I don't know what Punisher was doing. Maybe this movie came out at the time. It was 2009.
Who else would you put in a book with Eminem? I think the Punisher's the most natural.
Yeah, and
fit.
I think Eminem like is a like people like Eminem just because like he kills people. I have a feeling a lot of rap fans like Punisher just because he kills people.
All right, well, let's
Does
dive
Eminem
right.
kill people in real life? Is that a thing?
No, but like all this. If you ever listen to Eminem's, okay, this song, this story is called "Kill You," and the refrain is, "You don't want to fuck with Shady, cause Shady will fucking kill you." And he talks about chainsawing people. In
He
this
mentions that, yeah.
So the story opens with Eminem at a Detroit rap
Detroit
concert.
Rock City.
Yeah,
And of course, because Eminem's Detroit.
yeah. He's really losing himself in this moment.
Yeah. And he steps out and he's like,
I could really go for some mom's spaghetti right
Yeah.
now. See, I know things about Eminem.
and outside his limo's waiting, and Punisher's waiting there. And Punisher opens fire on his homies.
His concierge.
His homies, as Eminem puts it. And Eminem's like, "Damn, why is this motherfucker maniac after me?" And it's censored, but that's what Eminem's saying.
Yeah.
Somebody grabs Eminem and grabs him and pulls him into an alleyway. And it's Barracuda, who is a well-known Punisher villain. I think Joe can explain better
Yes,
than I can.
Barracuda is a crazy son of a bitch who originates from Garth Ennis's Max Punisher run. He's a character whose first story didn't really do a whole lot for me, and I didn't really understand why people liked him. And then his finale story in Punisher, I think, is one of the best Punisher stories I've read ever. So I have a little bit of an affinity for the character. I don't necessarily know. He winds up getting his own miniseries too.
Yeah, he does.
I haven't read that, but if you're interested in the character, it's there.
Yeah,
To quote Sly, he's a Punisher villain that outlasted his first appearance,
Yeah.
which is rare enough.
yeah, Punisher.
Especially in Punisher Max, because you do not last very long in that
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
So Barracuda grabs Eminem and he's like, "He ain't after you. You just got the misfortune of standing in my general fucking vicinity." And Eminem's like, "Barracuda, the hell you doing here, homie? I ain't seen you since the back at the hip hop shop." So apparently Barracuda's a rapper. He goes to hip hop shops.
Yeah, apparently they know each other. Eminem
Yeah.
and Barracuda,
Yeah.
which is
and,
a
and,
thing.
And and Barracuda's like, "Oh, you know, a little of this murder for hire, a little of that overthrowing small Central American governments."
Yeah. That one. Are those references to the Max story at all?
It could be. He's a well-known like gun for hire
Okay.
mercenary.
And they set up a trap for the Punisher where basically Eminem's like waiting inside this house, and Eminem's like, "Hey, Mr. Superhero, over here! Get me away from this crazy bastard! I don't deserve this. I'm a celebrity." And Punisher's like, "Settle down, Rockstar. I'll have you back in your jacuzzi before you know it." and Eminem's like, "Rockstar, fuck that!" And whaps Punisher with a gun and knocks him out. And Eminem says, "You don't want to fuck with Shady, 'cause Shady will fucking kill you." They quote Eminem songs several
I know
times.
that song now that I hear it with those dulcet tones.
And then Eminem's like, "Damn, that was easy." And he shoots Punisher in the chest. Punisher got chumped by
Yeah.
Eminem.
Yeah, reading this, I'm like, this doesn't sit well. But
Well, to be fair, Eminem did kick ass with a gun in Wanted, so maybe it's possible.
And he super sucker punch.
to be fair, that wasn't Eminem in Wanted. That
It was
some
basically
That's
Eminem.
some guy modeled after Eminem.
Eminem,
I'm taking it as Eminem.
I'm not.
my headcanon says it's Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing this right now. Just can we move on, please?
As Eminem's shooting Punisher in the chest, he says, "Why this fool after you in the first place, Cuda?" And Barracuda puts a gun to his head and says, "Aw, ain't no thing. He found out I got hired to smoke some punk-ass rapper." And he shoots Eminem right in the chest.
Yeah. I thought the book was going to end here.
That would have been great.
That would have been fucking
With
hilarious.
both of them dead.
And so it cuts 2 hours later. They're on like
They're on a boat and they're tied up on the floor together.
and Barracuda's singing, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird." And then Eminem's like, "Oh, it's not music will play at my funeral. Just didn't think I'd be around to hear it. Kinda hoped it would sound good too." And the Punisher's like, "Maybe you should have thought before shooting the guy trying to save you 3 times in the body armor."
Pretty fair point.
You trying to call that saving me? You went post on my security. Most of them have been my homies for years. Not for nothing. They pulled on me first. So then, as they're bitching, Barracuda comes out saying, "Oh, ain't this sweet? If you're all done with your conjugal visit, we best get down to business here. I'll be freezing my favorite parts."
His toes?
Let's go with that.
And then them's like, "How could you Judas me like this? Man, we grew up together." And I like that canon edition that Barracuda and them are grew up together.
They're homies.
Yeah. And Barracuda's like, "Oh, don't go all bitch on me with the we was homies in the hood line. You find out I was Marshall. Just business is all. Heh. Them blue hairs at the parents' music council really don't like you. What? Those Bible thumping bastards?"
I actually think this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love
That
that,
it's
yeah.
the people protesting his music for being too violent hired a mercenary to
Yeah.
kill him. I think that is really clever
Yeah.
and really fun.
I thought that was brilliant. I
yeah,
thought that was,
I really like it.
that was probably my favorite part of this
Yeah.
whole book.
Yeah, and Barracuda's like, "Yeah, the preachers want me to go Old Testament on your ass."
And like even the dialogue around here is just
Yeah.
like clever.
Yeah. So then he dumps Eminem onto the ice, but the ice is too thick, and Eminem just splats onto it. And Barracuda's like, "Oh, I guess I better do this the hard way," and grabs his gun, and he's about to shoot. But before he does, he says, "Ha! My name is what? My name is who? Ticka Slim Shady."
We doesn't get to finish it.
Yeah, he's about to say that, but then
Yeah.
Punisher kicks him right in the shins, and Punisher and him starts fighting, and Eminem goes walking off on the ice. And he finds a guy ice fishing in the middle of nowhere,
Yes.
and the guy's like, "Wow, are you Eminem? I know you probably hear us all the time, but I'm your biggest fan." And the guy has a chainsaw too,
Yeah, you know, it's a
Well,
couple of ice.
yeah, you're gonna cut the hole in the ice.
and he says, "I got a house full of your pictures and your posters, man," which is another reference to an Eminem song. And Eminem.
Which this guy's name was Stan too.
I don't get it. Ace Freely?
So then Eminem takes a chainsaw from him because he wants to chainsaw Barracuda in the face. And Punisher and Barracuda are fighting, but Barracuda gets a drop on Punisher.
Is Punisher still have his hands tied behind his back at this point?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Barracuda's being shot of him, and he's about to
Of course
kill.
he is. He has got his hands tied behind his back.
And he's about to kill Punisher.
You
And
don't
then,
have to justify it, Joe.
how do you explain the Eminem scene, Joe? Then
Eminem has to look good at some point, other than like at the end of the story.
so
The
then Eminem.
story's only like 15 pages long.
I know.
18 pages.
He's gotta get his licks in.
So then Eminem takes a chainsaw and starts chainsawing the fuck out of Barracuda. And
Yeah, it's really great. Like he chainsaws like half of his
It
torso.
kind of comes out of nowhere how gory it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Eminem chainsaws the fuck out of him and says, "Yeah," as he pushes him to ice and says, "Ice ain't thick enough to hold your big ass." And then Punisher takes a gun to Eminem's head and says, "Get on the ice." And Eminem's like, "What? Did you have your eyes closed the whole entire time? Unlike you, I actually saved your ass." "You killed Barracuda. He tries to kill me. Criminal's a criminal."
He was gonna kill Barracuda, and Eminem did it instead. How? What?
Just keep going.
Punisher's a criminal too. He should shoot himself in that. That should be the finale to this.
Yeah.
Your prize is sissy fucking out of whack, you know that? And then Punisher shoots. It seems like Punisher shoots him, but he actually shoots the ice around him and basically makes the ice like drift away from the
Yeah.
main ice.
Like Buddy the Elf.
Then Mr. Norwell pops out of the ice with Barracuda like impaled on his horn.
Sorry, but then hope you find your mom. Sorry to kill all of your homies, Marshall, is what Eminem says.
No, Punisher says that.
Yeah, you have those switched.
Oh,
Which is also weird because Frank would not apologize for killing them.
sorry I killed your homies, dog. So then he's like, "Now we're even," and he gives Eminem a military phone, and he says, "You can get rescue out here." And Eminem says, "Yo, where you going?" "To pay a visit to the Parents Music Council. Hiring a contract killer, serious crime." And Eminem's like, "Oh, really? Cool. Do me a favor and tell him Shady sent you." As the Punisher rides off in his boat,
I kind of love this ending a lot.
Me too.
and the story ends with that scene.
This was a lot of fun.
So
It wasn't like, I wouldn't say this is like, if you really love Punisher or you really love Eminem, I don't think you'll like the way either is portrayed.
I think the Kiss story
It's
is
like a fun parody comic.
yeah. It's more like something like Punisher Kills Mario Universe, something like that, where you're just having fun with the concept. Basically.
Yeah.
I would say Kiss is more like a perfect way to merge Kiss and Marvel.
yeah, the thing is, all three of these stories, especially the Eminem one, are so short that like it was a fun way to spend 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not a huge investment
Yeah.
time-wise. It's just a lot of fun. So all three,
Yeah, recommend
These
it.
are all
plus?
winners.
yeah. So the question I wanted to ask before we wrap up, how much input do you think the celebrities themselves had onto these comics? I wonder, like, Kiss, I feel like we're more involved because there was, like, the ink stuff. It was much more of a publicity
Yeah,
thing.
and I think that was one of the first times they ever did that. Like now it's more common, but back then you never had celebrities. in
Yeah,
comics,
I
really.
wonder if Charles Barkley, like, just allowed them to use his
Probably,
like,
yeah.
license his name.
A lot of sports athletes have like.
Yeah, I thought that's part of like the whole when he agreed to do the commercial.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the comic book was a part of that
Yeah.
deal.
And, like, and I wonder, like, if Eminem, like, had anything to do with this book, or he just, like...
Signed off on.
But
it.
I just, like, those are the things I wonder, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff. The Kiss one is so well publicized, I'm sure we could research it, but, like, the Eminem one
Yeah.
might not be as easy to
I didn't know that
find out.
existed until you told me.
Yeah, same.
You guys didn't know Charles Barkley versus Godzilla just before I told you.
Yeah.
No,
So and that wraps up our 3-part review of these comics.
Yeah.
I think we did a job well done.
Yeah, I think the creators did a job well done, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Shout-
mostly us.
Yeah. So shout out to all these creators. You are all talented people.
Yeah, well, I was shocked when we picked these books. I was shocked at how much I thoroughly enjoyed them. So, we have a letter.
We have
for
a
the letters
letter,
page. Yes,
but from who?
from Daryl.
From Daryl.
From Daryl on
From Daryl.
Facebook.
Ah.
And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, or just want to tell us we suck, it's at Divisive Issues on Twitter.
You can also tell us how good we are.
You can also do that if you want.
Butter
I
us
guess.
up and then recommend books that you want us to do.
Yeah.
Butter
That's
our
the way to
face.
do it.
Butter our toast. And, divisiveissues@gmail.com, Divisive Issues on Facebook. Luckily, we got uniform usernames and everything, so it works out. So Daryl says, though comics are prone to tackle a wide variety of issues, death in comic books has always been a fickle subject, thanks to the ongoing serialized nature of the medium. Plenty of heroes have suffered the long sleep and revealed what a world would be like in their absence, but this eventually gets reversed with everything returning to the status quo. How do you guys feel about this? Are you okay with death being a minor vacation for the well-known A-listers, while for some reason their parents and relatives must remain 6 feet under? In what cases should a character remain dead, if any? Additionally, could comics make Jean Grey and Superman dying again impactful when fans know that they'd eventually have to return if for no other reason than lost sales? Why don't you start, Joe?
Why don't I start?
I would like to point out that Jean Grey has been dead for over a decade.
Yeah.
But there is a teen Jean Grey from the past.
Jean Grey?
Teen Jean Grey. Yes, I do understand that. It's
Ah.
not pure death.
Yeah. No, I absolutely get what he's going for. Yeah, I think they can absolutely make it. They can absolutely make it impactful. I think some of the most impactful stories of like the past 10 years have been the death of Batman and the death of Captain America. I thought those were incredibly impactful because
Yeah.
of how well they used the status quos. Like it wasn't just like they died. Like it was they died and their death was felt throughout the entire universe. You
They
know?
died for a narrative reason.
Yeah.
And they took older characters and gave them brand new roles.
Yeah.
And really told a great story.
Like they weren't just deaths; they were like a whole new status quo for like characters like throughout Marvel. At least for like the death of Captain America.
Yeah.
Like it impacted. This kind of impacted like not just the people in his book. It impacted Iron Man. It
Yeah.
impacted the Avengers. Like it impacted Thor. It was really really cool.
I mean, when Batman died, we got a new Batman.
Yeah.
We got a new Robin. We got a new Batgirl. Batwoman became a more prevalent character. It reshaped and revamped the entire Batline, and like,
we all knew he was coming back too.
yeah, but it didn't matter
Yeah.
and that's still my favorite era of Batman.
Yeah.
Is right before and right after the death of Bruce Wayne. So
No,
I
Batman and his Batman and Robin, Grant Morrison Batman and Robin is fantastic.
yeah,
It's my favorite part.
and
of
I
his
think
run.
it's that whole revamped status quo is kind of the kick in the leg that the Batman franchise needed.
Yeah.
That really the like 5 or 6 years leading up to that, I was not enjoying Batman comics at all.
So yeah, to guess to answer this question, yeah, these deaths can absolutely still be impactful, still have meaning,
Yeah.
even though the inevitable they'll come back. Another great one is the death of Johnny Storm in Jonathan
Yeah.
Hickman's Fantastic Four / Future Foundation run.
Yeah.
Really kind of revamped that whole line. A lot of his death, I think, the death of a major character, I think, means more now than it did before.
Because I feel like they could tell more nuanced stories about people responding to it and everything. And like, I just reread Hickman's Fantastic Four, and I've read it before, and I know Johnny comes back, pretty soon after, but still reading his death scene is still very powerful.
Yeah.
And like even knowing Batman comes back, reading the scene when Alfred gets his farewell message from Bruce Wayne is still very powerful. And I actually used to be a lot harsher on death and resurrections in comics until I read an interview with Matt Fraction. And he said that
The writer of the Great Thor run.
yeah, Fraction, generally a great writer, has a couple shitty
He has
books
some
on this.
misses.
Yeah.
We'll do the Thor run eventually.
But yeah, definitely. But he talked about how we get to play escapism with every other element in comics. We get to see what's it like if a man could fly. What is it like if having someone with the powers of Superman was a good guy? What if we get to play escapism with every other nature? How come these characters can't also wow us by escaping death? And that kind of made me reform it in a way where he said, like, the deaths are powerful and emotional, but what you really want to see is how they claw their way back. And, like, sometimes it's done really cheap for lost sales, like Daryl said, and all that stuff. But even though, like, when they undo deaths, when Johnny Storm shows up, it's a big, fuck yeah, emotional moment. When Bruce Wayne finally comes back and hugs Tim Drake as Robin for the first time, you know, that's his adopted father. It's a powerful moment.
Yeah.
You know, when Captain America comes back and picks up the shield for the first time, that's just as powerful.
Yeah, the first
as the
issue
death.
of JMS's Thor, when Thor is contemplating, do I even want to come back?
Yeah.
Really, really great stuff.
And we get to break all the rules of physics when we tell superhero stories. What's one more to me?
I love the comeback. It's just so impactful that like not even death is gonna stop like Captain America or Batman
Yeah,
or
not
any of
even
these
death
characters.
is going to stop Barry Allen from saving his wife.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, and that, but having said that, there are times that someone coming back is forced and shitty and gimmicky. Just like there's times people dying is forced and shitty and gimmicky.
Yeah.
For me, it can be impactful. It can be extremely impactful, both them coming back and dying, if it's a good story.
Yeah.
What about you, Sly? What do you think?
I'm kind of a bit harsher than you guys. One of the
Sly hates hope.
I hate hope. No, but the problem is, one of the first comics I ever read was stuff like Death of Superman, which is ironic because that was the one that's the format of you kill him off with the plan to bring him back and just show what happened while he's dead, basically in the time that he's dead. But I didn't read the Return of Superman for a while. I got the trade from my
It's
cousin.
so good.
It is a great story, but I got
Even that has such a fuck yeah moment.
yeah. So Death of Superman, I got it when I was a kid, and it's one of the first Superman stories I read where he dies. And
It was my first Superman story, too.
yeah, so I read that story. Then when I started getting into comics more seriously, I read Dark Phoenix Saga, and that's the story where Jean Grey dies. And those two stories made me really view comics as something more than they could be something more than what people really view them as, which is that nothing really matters. These are all episodic. The same thing happening over and over again. And I will give credit. A lot of modern comics do it really well. Like I said, Superman started the format of you kill the character off, the plan to bring him back, but you tell really great stories in the meantime.
Yeah.
Like Death from Superman, World Without Superman has a lot of great moments where you're just waiting for Superman to come back, and you're hoping for him to come back.
And they play with that
Yeah,
expectation
yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah, and like I've read a little bit of Batman while Batman was gone, and that's a great status quo when Dick is Batman, and you could tell really great stories in the meantime, and it's hard to make something like that stick. I just do wish it wasn't so automatically assumed. Like I wish there was some element of mystery whether he'll come back or not.
Don't you think a lot of that has to do with fans, though?
It is a lot
like
of fans.
Thor hasn't had his hammer for a long time. That's more legacy,
Yeah.
but like things like that, like
I don't think Thor has been seen yet.
since
the new-
Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Well, like, but that's the thing is when a character dies or a character goes down with the status quo
Yeah.
or whatever, I feel like fans immediately have this expectation. I don't think that's really the industry's fault that
That's true.
much, and I think that it's unfair because when I read like Death of Wolverine, I was so hesitant to read because I was like, he'll be back, whatever.
He's not back yet.
He's not back yet, for the record. And also, like, why am I allowed to disparage them for saying that? For me saying they'll be back, when I read Death of Superman, and I bought Death and Return of Superman together, I
wonder if he comes back.
But I knew for a fact he was coming back, and I still love that story. How come when it's unsure, when there's a chance he's not, how come I get to complain?
Yeah.
I feel like that's unfair. That the best death stories, we talked about Cap, we talked about Batman, we knew they were coming back when
Yeah.
we read those because it had already happened. but then we complain that like, oh, they're just coming back soon. But we still love those other stories. I feel like that's more fan fault.
And also another good point is my problem with that is it makes things potentially too episodic. But like you guys pointed out, it's a huge status quo change, and even when status quo shifts back nowadays, it's not always exactly the same. Like right now, Sam Wilson, who's Falcon, will be Captain America for a while. Then Steve Rogers will become Captain America again. But even now there's a status quo where both of them are Captain America at the same time.
Yeah.
Sam has the shield while Steve doesn't.
Dick Grayson's Robin is still Robin.
Yeah.
You know, he died and came back, and he's still Robin.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't go back. So yeah, I think it can be impactful if you do it for a reason. If you just bring someone back just to bring them back for sales, I think it shows, and fans get mad at them.
I think preferences aside, the ultimate deciding factor is it a good story?
Yeah.
Whether you're planning it ahead to bring him back or not.
That's the main thing that we talk about, I think, a lot on this show, is some of these ideas we talk about are great, some of these ideas we talk about are terrible, and they end up being great stories or shitty stories.
Yeah.
It all depends on, you could have the wackiest idea. Look at comics in general. The wackiest idea, well executed, is a classic comic book.
Yeah.
Did we just do that tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
These books were so much fun and
Yeah.
great, and they are premises
They are the
that
wackiest ideas.
and these are premises that should not work.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So, just a reminder, rate and review us on iTunes and subscribe,
Do we want to do recommendations?
all that stuff. Yeah, but I like to, keep that with the letters.
Keep going. Yeah.
So now, very lastly, we have recommendations. If you like the Kiss comic book, I highly, highly recommend the feature film Kiss Attack of the Phantoms.
What?
It is available on Kissology Volume 2, and it is a haunted amusement park that Kiss is at, and they're trying to stop a phantom demon thing, and they have superpowers, and they are never explained. Just at one point, there's a weird scene where they're like, oh, here's the talisman that gives us our powers. And that's it. That's all you get. And even Kiss, who never admits anything they do is stupid, at the end I saw an interview with them, and they're like, we don't even understand what happened at the end of that movie. It is a classic good bad movie. If you like the wackiness of the Kiss comic book, the movie is 3 times as good. And I like the book. I highly recommend it.
Do you have one, Joe?
I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's hard, right?
It is hard.
I'm thinking my recommendation is
Space Jam.
that's a good recommendation. Joe, you want to take that
actually, no, you go.
one? I'll go Space Jam. It's Charles Barkley. It's a weird team up that you'll never expect, but it works in a weird way.
It's celebrities showing up in a cartoon universe.
Yeah, it's Michael Jordan, fucking Charles Barkley, Newman,
Bill Murray.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think anyone needs us to tell him why Space Jam is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, but if you're like maybe a guy who didn't grow up in the 90s and you're like a 2000s kid,
That's true.
Go-
Space Jam's awesome.
Space Jam's awesome. It's like just like these books. It's not like Emmy Oscar winning material, but it's like you want to have fun. You want to see Michael Jordan meet Looney Tunes.
It's a bizarre premise, and they just run with it. Also, Lola Bunny. Yes. Okay.
Speaking of furries,
She's my Beth.
This will be a preview of our next episode for celebrity stuff. The Adventures of the Kool-Aid Man. God, I'm so dumb. Marvel put out a Kool-Aid Man based comic, and it's just nothing but spectacular. It's such a good time. Kool-Aid Man beats the Thirsties, who are interrupting like a softball game, and it's just spectacular.
We will be talking about it soon when we talk about more corporate and less celebrity tie-ins.
Oh yeah.
But it's gonna be awesome.
so look forward to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've been Josiano.
I've been Sly Craven.
And I'm Ryan Lynch.
All right, everyone, stay in continuity and have a good night.